Mr Speaker, to me a socially just society is like woven cloth, one in which many threads come together to make a cohesive whole, a unified fabric. I would like to briefly expand upon what I see as some of the key threads that need to be woven together to advance our nation into the 21st century. I am a defender of the role of government in improving the quality of life and opportunity available to all people. Governments cannot solve all problems, nor can governments make all decisions, but governments should, dare I say must, ensure the framework and foundations are there so that our citizens can. I believe in the social contract, the notion that each individual is part of a society. Citizens pay their taxes and in return are entitled to expect from their government liberty, protection from harm, security and, where necessary, aid to their welfare. This is no more important than in the area of healthcare. As a qualified clinical psychologist, I have had the good fortune to be intimately involved in providing frontline care to the mentally ill and the emotionally troubled. We must continue to pay great attention to the needs of those requiring mental health care. Unlike many physical ailments, mental illness is not always visible, but no less serious. We must continue to improve our standard of care that promotes psychological well-being and mental health in our community. When it comes to mental health and healthcare in general, I also believe we must invest in prevention as well as treatment. This is the only way that we can advance a healthier, happier and more productive society. I consider it of the utmost importance that Australia enjoys a system of public health care that is the envy of the world. There are many challenges facing our system, such as rapidly changing technology and an ageing population. However, we must meet those challenges and maintain our hospitals and health system at their best. We must protect and defend the principle of universal health care, as it is unacceptable that a person's financial position should determine whether they might live or die. Maintaining and building infrastructure remains a priority for my electorate and is a key thread to improving quality of life for the people of Kingston. Just as much work was done in the 60s and 70s to lay the foundations for large-scale settlement in the south, so we must make a renewed effort in this new century. Providing greater rail services and better roads, building high-speed broadband and maintaining a supply of high-quality clean water are all essential infrastructure required not only in my electorate but also across the nation. I am confident the Rudd government, in conjunction with our colleagues at state and local level, can work to lay these much-needed foundations for our future. Intrinsically linked with infrastructure in the south is economic development. The need to focus on economic development in the south of Adelaide has only been emphasised by the announcement that the Mitsubishi plant is set to close at the end of next month. Losing one's job represents much more than just missing out on a pay packet. For many of these workers, their identity has been tied up with the quality cars that they made and the line in which they worked. I want to pay tribute to these workers who provided loyal service but were victims of circumstance beyond their control. Despite this sad circumstance, we need to look to the future for these workers and the future for the region. I would like to thank the Prime Minister, the Minister for Industry and the Premier of South Australia for making a commitment to invest in the south of Adelaide, an investment that I believe should be focused in the area of high-tech, innovative, sustainable industry. The provision of education for all children is another vital thread in the woven cloth of social justice. I want to ensure that all young Australians can reach their potential, so in turn can one day also contribute to our nation's growth and prosperity. I am particularly committed to working on early childhood education, and I am proud that our government has seen it fit to identify this area as a priority. My work as a psychologist has highlighted to me the critical need to provide our kids with the best possible start in life, ensuring that they have access to a high standard of education to allow them the best opportunities in those early formative years and to set them up for the future. Mr. Speaker, I've spoken of my family and former union colleagues. Of course, there are many others I need to thank. People who have played various roles in getting me to this moment. I would first like to thank my friend Blair Adams. It was through his enthusiasm that I became active in the political process and embraced politics as an avenue for change. I would like to thank my campaign team who worked tirelessly over the election period. I especially thank my campaign manager, Chris Picton, whose commitment, drive and attention to detail ensured that we achieved the result we did in Kingston. Thanks also to my Deputy Campaign Manager, Sonia Romeo, whose dedication and organisation ensured that the campaign ran smoothly on the ground. I express thanks also to Senator Dana Wortley for all her help in the campaign. To Alex Guyton, Xanthi Kleinig, Tom Koutsantonis, the member for Wakefield, the Honourable Minister for Youth and Sport, Senator Annette Hurley, Shane McNeil, Nympha Farrell and Chloe Fox. I am extremely grateful for all your moral support and well-considered advice you provided me through the campaign. Thanks also to my staff, Emily, Mary, Suzanne, Emmanuel and Aaron, for their hard work in servicing the constituents in the seat of Kingston. I'd like to express my gratitude to all Labor Party members and supporters in Kingston who worked so hard on my campaign. I truly could not have won without their tireless help. I also acknowledge the Kingston Your Rights at Work group who campaigned vigorously to ensure that the industrial relations debate remained at the forefront of voters' minds during the election. In closing, Mr. Speaker, I wish to bring to mind the man after whom my electorate is named. Charles Cameron Kingston was a colourful character and a colossal figure in the story of federation. Kingston was a pioneer who worked long and hard to see Australia become a nation. I often think about the aspirations of those men and women at the beginning of federation. They had a vision for a strong, united country. They believed in the capacity for the Australian people for democracy, for freedom and for enterprise. How proud they would be to see us now, a strong and prosperous nation, a nation that contributes beyond our size, population or wealth in international affairs, a nation that enjoys tremendous unity and common purpose, a nation that soon, I hope, will select its own head of state. Our challenge 100 years later is to ensure that in another century our descendants can look back on the decisions we make now and feel that we too played our part in our nation's journey, that we build on those early foundations, that we saw both the potential of the present as well as the challenges for the future, that we live up to the promise. Just as those who lived in the early settlements in my electorate a century ago sought a better life, so do thousands now seek that better life in newer areas. Their aspiration for a better quality of life and a fair go for their children and their grandchildren is one that's shared by all generations. So it will be my task, Mr. Speaker, with all the energy and ability I can muster, to do what I can to make that aspiration a reality, to play that part, to continue weaving that cloth of justice, to commit to those vital threads of fairness, of opportunity, of education and of care, for the benefit of those I have the privilege to represent and to the advancement of our great nation. Yes.
Order. The question is that the address be agreed to. The member for Sturt.